Alright, so what do Japanese people really think of Donald Trump becoming president of the United States for a second time? And specifically, how are people in Japan reacting to Trump's win? Is it the same kind of excitement or dread we saw 4 years ago, or is it something completely different? Well, if you're interested in this, then please like, share, and subscribe to keep up to date on all the latest information. Now, it's really easy to assume that in Japan, the general response would be purely negative. After all, Trump's last term with Japan saw huge tensions, with trade disputes, talk of military defense responsibilities, and unpredictable foreign policy. And with the current political divide in America, it's really easy to think that Japan wouldn't support such a divisive presidency. But surprisingly, Japan's view of Donald Trump in 2024 is a little bit more complicated than you might think. And actually, Japan has a long history with Donald Trump. Being introduced as a businessman first, Donald Trump really quickly became popular in Japan. And this was because Donald Trump wasn't just any businessman. He was a global figure. And back in the 1980s and 90s, when Japan was experiencing its economic boom, Trump Tower in New York was the place to be. His flashy lifestyle, skyscrapers, casinos, and golf courses didn't just impress Americans. They caught the eye of people in Japan too. And for many, Trump seemed like the symbol of success and wealth. He was on TV shows, in magazines, and even featured in video games. Japanese people saw him as this larger-than-life figure, the kind of guy who could do anything he set his mind to. And they especially liked that he was bold, outspoken, and unapologetic. And now in 2024, he's won again. But this time, it's not just a surprise. It's making a lot of people here in Japan really think. And while some people are excited about his presidency, as they see Trump as a strong leader who doesn't back down, and someone who can really shake the establishment up and make things better not only for the US economy, but by extension Japan as well. And even now, since taking office, he has supporters in Japan celebrating by creating a float of Donald Trump and celebrating his return to office. On the flip side, others are more cautious. They're really worried about what a Trump presidency means for Japan, especially when it comes to trade deals and defense agreements. But on the political front, in Japan, Japanese people generally don't have the same intense loyalty to one party or another, as politics in Japan are a little bit more subdued, and public debates aren't as heated. So while many Japanese people don't especially pay attention to politics, they are definitely paying attention to this new presidency, especially when the president is someone like Donald Trump. And for Japanese politicians specifically, they're really on the fence whether Trump's presidency will benefit Japan, with some of them stating that this is a leader who's known to upend international agreements and really make impulsive decisions, and view this kind of presidency as a potential threat to diplomatic stability. However, others see Trump's approach as a way for Japan to reassert itself more on the global stage. And if you're watching Japanese media, it's a whole different ballgame. And this is really because Japanese media plays a huge role in shaping public perception. And the way they've covered Trump's victory is pretty interesting. While some outlets report Trump with a sense of skepticism or even concern about his unpredictability, there are others who are focusing more on the entertainment factor of this. And with Trump, with his larger-than-life persona, it certainly does draw attention. And Japanese TV shows, online forums, and social media platforms have all been flooded with people commenting about the election. And really, a lot of the comments are more focused on his style and way of presenting rather than his actual policies. And in fact, young Japanese people tend to view Trump as purely as a celebrity, as there have been numerous viral memes and clips that kind of make him seem like an iconic pop culture icon. And while this doesn't necessarily translate into support for his policies, there's a sense of fascination about it. But what do you think about the youth of Japan being exposed to Trump in this way? Let me know in your comments down below. Now, when it comes to national security in Japan, Trump's return to office means more uncertainty about whether or not the US will really remain a stable ally in the event of a conflict, especially with China or North Korea. With that being said though, there are those who believe that increased pressure from Trump could force Japan to take more responsibility for its defense. And this has been a huge topic of debate in Japan for years, as some feel that Japan's pacifist constitution leaves it vulnerable. So what does this all mean though? Well, the general opinion of Trump in Japan, according to a poll from NHK, states that 57% believe that a Trump presidency would actually be negative, while 10% believe that it would in fact be positive and 32% were indifferent. But one thing really is clear about all of this. The Japanese view of Trump's win isn't just about what happened in the US. It's about what happens next. And how will Japan's leadership respond to the unpredictable nature of Trump's administration? But what are your thoughts on all of this? Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you're interested in Japan and want to visit or maybe even move to Japan in the future, you'll definitely want to create a fantastic first impression no matter where you go. Which is why you should check out my free course on how to make a great first impression in Japan no matter where you go. And until next time everyone, stay waku waku.